The mainstream legacy media sucks. I know. News at 11. I get it. But no more proof has come in the last few days than a recent settlement that was made by Disney ABC to Mr. Donald J. Trump to the tune of, well, at least $15 million. $16 million if you count what they had to reimburse for Donald Trump's lawyers to defend in this lawsuit. And then you look at something like this, and you just get a big fat smile on your face. Yeah, George Stephanopoulos has yeeted himself from Twitter because, well, I guess he didn't want to put up with the fallout from this and the regular folks on X. God bless you, George.
Renegade Online.
Well, this was fun. So this was not a long-lived lawsuit, was it, Ron? It seemed like this kind of went in and out pretty quick.
Well, it was filed early in the year. I mean, this is about as long as these go. Ultimately, what the really key development here was this. This was the order on the motion to dismiss by the defendants, denying it on all three grounds on July 24th.
Mm-hmm.
Once that happens, then the only question about settlement is when and how much. And evidently, and I say this as a complete outsider to the lawsuit, I had nothing to do with it whatsoever. Very interesting opinion, 21-page opinion. Apparently, it was, the ticking, the deadline here in terms of getting the settlement done was avoiding making discovery, especially the Stephanopoulos deposition.
And that's what I wanted to ask you about, because we've talked about this before when it's come to other legal matters involving the Walt Disney Company, right?
Yeah.
And by, of course, we mean Gina Carano. We've talked about a number of times. We have had so many questions for that case, specifically regarding discovery, and
right.
we've said that probably wouldn't be the best thing in the world if it actually would go to discovery for Disney, and it would probably look really, really bad for Disney in the case of Gina. And I suspect, and this was my question for you, your thoughts. Same situation here with the Stephanopoulos case, which a little background on this. Yeah. So what we're talking about here is George Stephanopoulos made the claim on an ABC broadcast that Donald Trump was found liable for rhymes with grape, which he was not. He was found liable for, I think it was sexual assault, which is a very different legal term in
New York.
In New York, right? So they used the word because, again, let's think why. This is Disney. This is ABC. This is the media. It's much more sensational to say grape versus anything else. Now, it might have been mistaken on the part of George Stephanopoulos, although probably a little hard to argue that considering that Stephanopoulos has been at this game for 30 years. He was the press secretary for Bill Clinton back in the 90s. I remembered him on television back in the 90s. I remember Rush Limbaugh riffing on him every day, on his show. So Stephanopoulos, and of course, as soon as Clinton got out of office, Stephanopoulos got a guaranteed job in national news, and he's been there for 25 years now, or 24 years. So he's not an idiot in that regard. He should know better. But what I find funny with this is that, of course, ABC is the same network that hosts The View. And how many times in the last several weeks, and we've played the clips, have we seen Sunny Hostin? I don't know how much longer she is for this world on The View. How many times have we seen Sunny Hostin have to stop in the middle of a show? We have a legal note. And she would have to... She would have to correct herself in the middle of the show. Well, this is why, Ron. I mean, look, explain this settlement, because it wasn't just the $15 million and you tell the audience where it's going, but there was another $1 million they had to pay up for something else.
I don't remember that. You paid closer. I was more interested in the opinion.
Oh, well, go ahead with the opinion. But what I saw here was it was $15 million that was paid to the Trump Library Foundation, and I think they had to
$1
pay
million
another
for the attorney's fees or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
They had to pay. Disney had to cough up another $1 million to pay Trump's lawyers.
That's pretty nice. One of the one point, you're talking about what should Stephanopoulos have known? Shouldn't he have known better? And one of the issues in the motion to dismiss was it is appropriate for a court to decide whether a defamation has taken place as a matter of law. We don't have to go to trial if the words that were spoken if there's no reasonable fact finder who could agree that a defamatory statement was made. Mm-hmm. And the judge says on page 17, under the appropriate legal standard, a reasonable jury could interpret Stephanopoulos' statements as defamatory. Listen to this. Stephanopoulos' exchange, and by the way, this judge is, God bless Chief Judge Cecilia Altanaga, who writes Stephanopoulos 'S. That is proper. Stephanopoulos' exchange with Mace lasted about 10 minutes, during which Stephanopoulos stated, this is now in italics, stated 10 times that a jury or juries had found plaintiff liable for rape. In fact, of course, the Carroll 2, that's the decision or the trial, jury did not find plaintiff liable for rape under New York penal law. It was Judge Kaplan who determined that the jury's verdict amounted to liability for rape. The judge says somewhere else, I don't even have to agree with that, but that's not, doesn't matter whether or not I do. Yet none of these particularities make it into the segment such that a reasonable viewer would have indisputably understood what defendants now brief in detail. At one state, in fact, in one point, Stephanopoulos asked to display a screenshot of a newspaper article about Judge Kaplan's findings and said the judge affirmed that it was, in fact, tape. This ostensible clarification occurred late in the segment and did not include any further explanation. Viewers were simply treated to a 10-second glimpse of a headline and partially blurred text with no mention of Judge Kaplan by name or any description of why his description of the verdict, listen to this, differed from the jury's actual verdict as recounted by Mace. On this record, the court finds that the segment is at least confusing or ambiguous and susceptible to defamatory interpretation. That's the kind of thing that makes you settle a case.
There you go. And that's the point. Disney had to walk away from, and the problem is that, like you said, I think that Stephanopoulos isn't a green pea at this. He knows better, or he should have known better. It's more sensational to use that word, right? That's what gets the headlines. What have we seen the entire presidential election from the left? Donald Trump was he was a convicted, rapist.
Felon.
Felon, all this kind of stuff. Well, they're saying that he did actually do that to somebody. It's like, no, that's not anywhere. He's never been convicted of that. There's never been a criminal charge. That's not even on the civil side. That word is not there. But that's what's been sensationalized this
not
entire.
Not only not there, it's specifically in the jury verdict. Says, yes. Did he tape her? And the jury says, no. There's a box there, yes or no? No.
Right. So
Judge Kaplan, got to be careful. I might end up in front of Judge Kaplan tomorrow morning. I don't have any present cases with him. Southern District of New York is a skyscraper full of judges, but I don't need. I have been in front of him in the past. I don't need the aggravation. Mm-hmm. He says, no, but it's tape. It's tape.
Yeah. By the way, have you noticed how careful the media has been to make very clear this is ABC News and never say Disney?
I'm not so sure how meaningful. You guys tell me, how much management control does Disney actually exercise over ABC News? I don't know.
Up until the election, Things may have changed now, but Dana Walden, who was perceived to be the next CEO of the company, she's besties with Kamala, and we believe, was basically running ABC News.
Yeah, Dana Walden.
There's your answer.
Yeah, Dana Walden's the co-chair of Disney Studios. So, and she specifically has dominion over television, whereas her co-chair Alan Bergman has dominion over film studios.
There's a photo out there of her with what's the name of the moderator, the female moderator, Lindsay.
From the debate. Yeah.
Dana and Kamala and the moderator Lindsay all together at a nightclub or something, or at an evening party, and it's like, oh, come on, you can't make this up.
No, well, because they thought they had it in the bag, and then like everything has had to pull back because they got, oh, nope, Trump won, we screwed up again. ABC is fully controlled by Disney, has been since Disney acquired it back in 1995, 94, whatever it was, which is where Bob Iger came from.
But it's not surprising that they don't mention it that way. Of course, that would undermine their own special pleading.
I don't know if, well, you're looking at the lawsuit. Does it specifically list ABC, or I'm sure it probably lists Disney as well on the suit, because that is
ABC is the lead defendant. I actually don't have the full original caption in front of me. So, no, here we go. The defendants, American Broadcasting Company and ABC News.
Okay,
American Broadcasting. Stephanopoulos.
Okay, so they specifically, which all of those entities are owned by Disney. And I will guarantee you that a lawsuit of that stature, of that importance, they would absolutely be coordinating with
for sure. Absolutely. Sure.
I mean, Carlos Gutierrez would have been involved in that, who is Disney's C-suite executive general counsel. So I mean, that rises to the level of I got to get personally involved. So
for sure, definitely.
They just want it to go away.
That is a hard pill to swallow. I mean, this is the kind of settlement you do not want to ever have to make. And I'll tell you the truth, personal opinion. I mean, the Stephanopoulos, he shouldn't have made a mistake, but he made a mistake that I think, as you were pointing out, he's hearing it all the time. Mm-hmm. He's hearing it all the time. It's bouncing off the echo chamber walls.
That's it.
So what could he possibly, what could go wrong? Just repeating it. And as the judge points out, he said it 10 times. When you're going to say something 10 times, you need to make sure that you know what you're talking about.
Life Lessons by Ron Coleman. Yeah, no, that's exactly. And look, does it not, and we'll kind of wrap it up with this. Does it not also, to me, there's a similar element of arrogance here on the part of ABC News that I feel from some of these DEI consultants, the Alyssa Mercantes out there. Hey, we can say whatever we want about you, and you can't do anything to me. But if you say something bad about me, I'm going to sue. And I mean, it's kind of the same attitude. These news companies. And I
want to point something out. You asked Jeff when he was on, gosh, is this the beginning of a lot more lawsuits? I don't. Or maybe it was Craig who said it. I don't think so. I think this is the tail end. I think this is a particularly activist law firm here. This is going to be like their mission. But by and large, this is such an obvious loser. This is simply not the wave of the future. This is not how to shut people up, unless it's true. I mean, unless it's Donald Trump or Alex Jones. But it's not going to work here.
Well, that's just it. That's the press. That people are pushing back, and I think too many people, whether they were, those of us out there sitting in the audience, or the guys like Smash, or that Park Place, or Donald Trump, whatever scale you're talking about, too long people were just kind of sitting there on their hands, taking it, and just running away and hiding, and then thinking there's no chance. I'll do what this person's asking me to do, even though they're totally in the wrong. Just because I don't want to fight this anymore. And they get they feel invincible. It's time for them to realize that they're not invincible anymore. It's time for them to realize that if you're going to run your mouth and you're going to say stupid things, or you're going to file stupid, frivolous lawsuits,
you're going to win stupid prizes.
It's great. You're going to win stupid prizes. 2025, I hope, is the last year of fool around and find out. so we can move on from this. We're free to disagree with everybody. We don't need to take people to court over it. In the case of, but ABC News was clearly wrong in their issue because they knew what they were saying. They, like you said, they repeated it 10 times. They walked themselves into that. But again, I think to a degree, I think he was fully aware what he was saying was not really accurate, but he wanted to use the sensationalist term that he did to describe Donald Trump because he felt, A, it would help their side, and they are very politically one-sided, and B, he didn't think that he can't come after me. I'm the media. I have my First Amendment right. Blah. Look at what Disney argues with Gina Carano. My First Amendment right. It's the same. It's like the First Amendment does not protect you from pissing all over other people's rights. It's
not supposed to. It too often has been used as a sword, not a shield.
Yep.
But things are definitely moving.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.